Free. Sorry, welcome along to Sunday Market Analysis Show with Actions to Wealth Trading Team. My name is Paul Bottrell. I'm your host today. I'll be joined today by Julian doing macro markets to follow up his recent session he's just finished on social media. Then we'll have Chloe and Linka coming into trend trading, and Orlando doing a recording for the US dollar. It is great to have you guys in. Anita, can you help me to get everyone the right powers that need to be? Julian, how was your hour on macro market overviews?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Hey, guys, it's an exciting time, mate. Well, Happy New Year to everybody, first off, out there, wherever you are. Is it too late to say that? I don't think it is. Okay. So, look, guys, Happy New Year to everybody. And it's a crazy time. You know, New Zealand is going through a bit of a transformation here, but we've had an amazing summer so far. Truly phenomenal weather. I think our colleagues on the east coast of Australia will probably have a different view of that. But fortunately, so far, we've been lucky. It's been a great summer, Paul, and I'm looking forward to an amazing trading year. Yeah,
mate, it's got everything sort of starting to line up, isn't it? There's enough going on in the world to make it kind of interesting as we look forward. And you're right, mate, been a sensational summer. And perhaps another 3 or 4 weeks would be really well timed for us in New Zealand at the moment.
I would love that too. 3 or 4 weeks of peace and quiet would be fantastic. I suspect otherwise. So we'll see how we get on.
Cheers, mate. Let's have a look at macro markets. What do you got in store for us today, mate?
Yeah, look, Paul, thank you, and hello, everybody. Look, I think the key thing for me is it's the world of change as we're seeing right now. I've just done a 45-minute session on the sentiment cycle and what's going on in terms of how I see things around the world. And I think the different markets in different stages of the sentiment cycle, right? So what I try and do now is give you a incredibly quick, brief précis of what I'm seeing. Guys, I'm not going to put the sentiment cycle up. Honestly, for those of you that have seen it before, go have a look at then you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that haven't seen it before, please listen to the podcast that's just been, and then you'll be able to pick some stuff up. So the key thing for me is what's been going on. I'm going to start with oil because oil is the cool, sexy one right now. And I just want to look at the daily chart. The key thing for me, one of the major points of interest on the sentiment cycle is when things are getting exciting, when you have higher lows taking place. And we saw this in oil back in early December. We had a big sell-off down into 60s. We then had a higher low. From that higher low, we had a significant rally. Is there any sign of that rally coming to an end? Well, the long story short is no, there isn't. So on the daily chart, the oil market looks pretty cool. If you take a bit of a step back, then you realize that oil has been rallying for some time, right? All the way from May of 2020, it's been going up. Sometimes getting running out of puff a little bit, and we're going up yet again. We're sitting at all-time highs here, but until we have a rejection, until something changes, I can't get out of my bullish mindset with oil. So it's buy the dips. And if you're looking to invest in oil, just look for those short-term corrections and continue to trade it. When it takes out major support or even minor support, then you can have a second think about it. Right now, nothing that we're seeing on either the weekly chart or on that daily chart is giving me any causes for concern, right? This is an uptrend and we need to trade it the way that we see it. However, not the same when we're looking at some of the cryptocurrencies. For those of you who've been involved in cryptocurrencies, you will know what's been happening recently. This has been the trend for the last 2 or 3 months. You can see again, we had an enthusiastic point. We had a retest of the highs, which failed. Then we started to have corrective action started to take place. A big trade-off. Let's get rid of that. I don't know how I delete that, so we'll leave it for the time being. So there we go. I can consign it to the bin. And we had a bit of a sell-off. Then it bounced back, but again, didn't take out the previous high, began to fail. The market was rotating, and all the signs there were that we're having that subtle warning coming into play, right? So as the market has unfolded, we then have an overt warning when we broke through the major support around the 3,600 level, and now we're starting the big cycle moves down. So we've had 1, now we've had 2. 2,400, of course, we know is really interesting. Why is it interesting? Because it's half of 4,800, which is the all-time high for Ethereum. And as we know, a lot of crypto guys like that 50% retracement level. Will it hold this time? Well, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But what I'm looking for from a positive trading perspective, if you like to get long and start to trade this from the long side again, is a higher low. We are a long way away on the daily charts from a higher low, a number of days away. Might take another 5 or 10 days to establish even some kind of low here. For the time being, we're accelerating away to the downside. Even if we put a ring low in place over the next couple of days, I still am not convinced that this is the low. We will have to wait and see. We need that proof point of a higher low coming in. For the time being, every bounce needs to be sold because that's what we're seeing in front of us. So a completely different part of the cycle. Let's go and look at the, well, not look at that one. Let's go and look at the S&P. Okay, here we go with the S&P. What are we seeing there? Again, let's just take a step back. Enormous rally. Okay, you want returning confidence, you want enthusiasm. I think you've got it when it comes to stock markets. So what's been happening here? We are beginning to see, first off, the initial break, the subtle warning break. Okay, we've taken out the initial support off the trend line. Now we've taken out the major support, and where have we closed? We closed on Friday in the midst of the beginnings of the next first major leg down. Now, how's it going to unfold? The answer is I have no idea. Is this still a buy the big dip moment? My head tells me probably not, but who knows what's going to happen. Okay, so at the moment, we again, if we're looking at this from a sentiment cycle perspective, are seeing a downtrend unfold. Have we finished yet? Well, no, I'm only seeing one major move down. We need to see 2 or 3 waves before we start to get that bullish price action. So it seems to me in my mind, there's a little bit further to go. How is that going to unfold? I'm not sure. We'll see how it turns out. There'll be seasonally bullish times to be buying stocks and seasonally bearish times over the next couple of months. Maybe in about 6 to 8 weeks time, we'll see a bull point that we can think about getting more involved. But for the time being, this looks like a downtrend to me, and we're not done, and we've got more moves, more waves, if you like, to unfold, even on the minor dailies, before we look at a weekly chart going back a much longer period of time. So we've looked at oil, we've looked at the stocks. Let's have a brief look at gold. What's happening with gold? Well, when we unpick gold on the daily charts, you can see from here, look, here we go, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Is this a bearish? No, of course not. Now we've got the opposite side of things. We now have a series of bullish sequences taking place. I don't know where this is going to end. It might end next week. Who knows? But for the time being, from a technical perspective, what we're seeing is a series of higher lows. So bullish times, right? Completely the opposite of what we're seeing in the cryptocurrency, completely the opposite of what we're seeing in the stock market as well too. Let's have a quick look at a couple of currencies. Is there anything happening in the euro? What I'm not sure about in the euro is what is going to happen next. To me, what I'm seeing here is a consolidation forever. A consolidation forever. The range traders out there, you guys must have made a fortune the last 2 months in the euro because it has gone nowhere, right? However, we did try a break to the top side and we've now come down. My worry wart is that we start to take out this level here or this level here, so 1224 or the 1280 area, something like that. The market will then go down to a new low level. So the dollar will continue its rally, the euro will continue its decline as we head down, probably down to the 108 level. So again, is that the end of the move? Well, who knows? We've been coming down for quite some time. Can you identify the 3 major legs down? There's one here, there's one here, there's one here. I don't know. I need to see a little bit more price action. I need to see some kind of move here that's calling the end. The technician in me says for all this length of time, if you spin that to the downside, that gets you down to 108. Don't know how we're going to make it, but that could be a target point. I think probably that's it for me, Paul. I've done my 5 minutes. There's a couple more things I'd love to talk about, but I think we've run out of time. Look, interest rates still remain on the upside and the trend is up. We could see corrections, but for the time being, the trend is up. And maybe dollar yen also, the trend is down. You know, if those of you who are interested, guys, go take a look at those daily charts and you can see the overall pattern. It looks like that's beginning to roll over for the time being, but it's not as clear to me as it is in the euro. Right now, I think this is the major risk that we take it out to the downside. Again, do I have any ideas why? No. If Russia does something with Ukraine, then pretty much that might be the catalyst. Who knows? We'll see what happens next. But that's it for me, Paul.
Cheers, Julian. Thank you very much. Appreciate your input as always, and thanks for the earlier show on macro markets update. I'll be having a look at that myself on the replay tomorrow. Thank you very much for that. We have changed the format of the show. You may notice that we're having a smaller group of traders come each day, and a couple of new traders and new traders are coming into TTR, into our market analysis section on Sunday for the first time. Two trend traders. We'll have Chloe first. We will have a linker session. I'm coming in from my vacation home, and internet is a little bit questionable here tonight. So if you lose me, they'll take us through to Orlando and the US dollar. Chloe, welcome in from the UK, I imagine.
Hello. Yes, I am in the UK, and not so cheerful weather it is here. But anyway, it's good to be here, Paul. This is, I think, maybe only the second or third time I've been in on a Sunday.
It'll be springs and roundabouts in a few minutes.
All right. Well, Julian has actually covered quite a few of the things that I'm interested in, because obviously I'm a trend trader as well. So I'm just going to talk about something different, actually, so as not to repeat what he's saying. Let me just grab the screen. Just to talk about a couple of currencies that I'm keeping an eye on at the moment. As Julian said, the winds of change are here. We've got quite a lot of very long-standing trends that seem to be stalling at the moment, or even possibly changing direction. Those of you that follow my Trader Talk radio segments will know that I've been trading heavily on the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones, so those US stock indices. And those have pretty much stopped yielding those trending opportunities for now. And as Julian said, who knows what might happen. But at the moment, I'm refocusing a little bit on currencies. There are a couple of things. So I've got Aussie dollar up here. Now, the reason I'm looking at this is because of the bearish nature of this. Now, I do not have a downtrend. I do not have, a nice series of lower highs and lower lows. But what I do have is one lower high here, and I've got these lows to keep an eye out. Now, this is not a very clear chart pattern, but what it tells me is if these lows down here are broken, then that could be the start of a downtrend. We've also got price having just plunged through the monthly pivot here, which is also a fairly bearish sign. Now, in terms of trading on the daily time frame, there's a little bit of patience to hold on to here. But in terms of intraday trading, I'm already looking for short opportunities on the intraday time frame. So if we look at the hourly time frame, for example, we can actually see prices now trading below that monthly pivot. We do have a downtrend, lower highs and lower lows, and I'm just waiting for price to just continue trading down a little bit further, followed by a pullback, and then I'll be looking to sell into this market potentially once this low here is retested in that monthly pivot. So it's a fairly similar story actually for me and the Kiwi dollar, in that no, I do not have a beautiful looking downtrend, but I do have the beginnings of an area on the chart that I can start to plot a map of what I will be doing when certain things happen. So at the moment, I do have a lower low here. This is the daily time frame again. I do have a lower low. So on the daily time frame, all I need to look for is a pullback in a suitable area to trade short. On the intraday time frames, again, I'm already looking for potential short opportunities, just as long as this level here is broken. If this level here holds, then I may just hold off those short opportunities until I see more clarity. But again, looking at the hourly time frame here, for example, I've already got lower highs and lower lows. I just need to wait for price to trade a little bit further down, followed by a pullback, and then that could give me further opportunities. And those of you who follow me on Trader Talk Radio as well will know I do trade down to the 15-minute time frame, and potentially there could be even more opportunities short on those lower time frames at the moment. Just one other currency that I wanted to take a look at, and that is dollar Swiss. just because it has not been trending nicely at all of late. It's very, very rangy, but because price is down fairly close to this horizontal level of support here, I am interested just in keeping an eye on it, because if that level breaks to the downside, then I will be very keen on looking for short opportunities. Dollar Swiss and the Swiss crosses, from my mind, they do tend to respect horizontal levels very, very nicely. And if a horizontal level breaks, I always want to be there ready to take an opportunity if it arises. So not trading right now, but I'm just looking at this horizontal level. If it holds, no problem, I'll move on to something else. But if this horizontal level breaks to the downside, then I am hunting down short opportunities, certainly in the short term. Sorry, Paul, I think I probably exceeded my time. Well, I just got kicked out anyway.
Sorry, Chloe, you're fine. I just put the camera on and lost it. So you're in and out as I'm going through this. My internet's bad. I'm in and out. So you're just fine. But if we're going to leave you as finished there, we'll bring you back in a few weeks and I'll be at home and we'll give you a full cross with less problems. I promise you that.
No worries.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great to see all you guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Chloe. It's nice to have you back in. Next up, we have Linka coming in from Sydney. How are you doing, Linka? Welcome to the Sunday Market Analysis Show.
Yeah, hi, Paul. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Happy New Year. Look, Linka's another trend trader based in Australia. Linka, what have you got for us tonight?
All right, I'm going to have a look at a couple of things. So let me just share my screen. All right.
Thanks.
So,
Anita, Linka really is new. So if I crash, if you can go, when she finishes, if you can go on to Orlando, that would be fantastic. Linka, if you lose me, don't panic. You may well lose me. Okay.
Okay, cool. So I'm looking at USD Cad for probably next week or the week after. What I'm looking at here is on the weekly, there's this channel going up. So on the daily, I have that pattern where it's going up. We've got a high low here, high, and now we're back down to here. So I'm looking for a reversal and looking to trade long on this one. If I hop down to the 4-hourly chart, then this is what I'm looking for. Here is the price action at the moment, just bobbing around the bottom. If it breaks through and does a retest at the top, then I would be looking for a long at that time. Or if it sort of ranges around, I might be looking at entry at the bottom of that area as well. Depends what it looks like. If the stochastic is low, below the 30, and the price action is down there, then I would probably look at a long from there as well. The next currency pair I'm going to look at is Gbp Jpy. And on this one, I'm looking for a short opportunity. So at the moment, we're at the top of that channel. So on the daily, we've had the price action break down below. And so on the 4-hourly, I'm looking for a pullback up to this area around here, and then for a reversal. If there is then a reversal to the downside, then I'm going to look for a short opportunity there. And the last one I'm looking at is Gbp Cad. Gbp Cad is also looking for long. So on the daily, we've had this area here, which I'm looking at if that as a higher low. So on the 4-hourly, again, if it breaks through that level and retests, then I would be looking for a long opportunity. So on here, and the price goes up, comes back, and then there's a reversal in this area. I'm looking for a long opportunity on this currency pair. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Linka. It's great to have you and Chloe come in and provide some more perspective to us. We're going to keep breaking the team up and doing it in small bits. And I wonder where they're going forward. I might see if I can separate the trend traders out a little bit. I really do appreciate your input. Thank you very much for your time. Now, next up, we're going to thank you. We're going to do is we're going to have Orlando doing the dollar index. He's going to have a look at US dollar pairs. That is coming in by recording today. I'll get Anita to grab the screen and play that recording. So next week, we will have Ash on the FTSE, Geoff on price action, and one more. I'll report back after this. Let's go with Orlando's video. Cheers, Anita.
Hello traders, Trader O here. Why don't we talk about the USD and what I'm looking at for next week. So last week, US Treasury Secretary Yellen came out very hawkish, saying that it's our responsibility to address higher than expected inflation, and we will. Also saying that inflation rose more than most economists, including me, expected, right? So why don't we have a look at the CME Group interest rate futures, okay? And right now we're seeing a 95% probability that on next week's FOMC meeting, interest rates are going to be maintained at the current level. Now, for March meeting, there is a 88.7% that probability that we're going to see a rate hike towards the 0.5%, right? Now, these of course are just what the market is expecting. And you know, last week I was actually looking at the daily chart on DXY and wondering if that rate hike is already priced in the market, right? Because since May 2021 lows, we have seen an appreciation of the USD, or a rally on the DXY of about 8.22%. But if we look at just 2022, right? I'm sorry, 2021. Since January 2021, it's basically the same thing, right? The lows on the DXY were printed on January 5th, 2021. So basically, last year has been just a rally on the US dollar. Now, is the rate hike already priced into the market? I don't know, right? But technically speaking, and also fundamentally speaking, I don't see a reason why I would be a seller on the US dollar. Now let's have a look at the lower time frames. This is the 8-hour chart. And if you remember, I've been talking about that 2-month range that the DXY was trading in. Then on January 12th, our price broke to the downside. And to be completely honest, that to me was absolutely not a reason to look for sales on the USD. Rather than look for sales, I was looking for buying the dip. More so because we retested October highs, which was the highs of the previous range that the DXY was trading. Now, right now, the level capping the upside on the DXY, of course, is the ranges lows and December lows, right? Now, on the very low time frames, this is the hourly on the DXY. What I'm looking at here is this. Actually, I'm gonna go to the 3-hour chart just to get rid of the noise, right? What I'm looking at is this. Actually, the 2-hour chart is going to look much better. Right now, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days worth of choppy price action inside of a range. Again, a range. This is a no trade range for me, right? And what I'm looking at here are two possibilities. First one is the retest of these previous lows, right? Where I would definitely be looking for buys, which confluences with the weekly pivot. And also historically speaking, this level has been a key level in the market. Remember that levels are actual zones, not just straight lines on your chart. So this is basically the level that I'm looking at here. If you notice, um, after that big rally, this is where buyers jumped in again to push price up to the top of that previous 8-week range. So if at the open, right, price on the USD opens lower, and if we have a gap down and price continues to drop, this is the zone that I will be looking for buys. Why? Because the risk to reward ratio on a possible buy here is extremely high in the sense that I will be looking at January 17th lows at stop losses. In January 20, the 17th was last Monday's lows. I'm sorry, I was looking at my calendar as stop losses, right? For a possible dip buy. Now, if that doesn't play out, I'm still going to be looking for buys at the break of last week or this week's range, right? This level right here. What concerns me a little bit about this play is that we have this very, very, very heavy level, just very close to what that possible breakout zone would be. And, looking at risk reward, at the possible risk reward ratio on this trade, that is not really appetizing in the sense that a breakout of the highs of this of last week's range would yield a less than a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio in the sense that I would have to put my stop losses below last week's lows. So that those are the two plays that I'm looking at. And I mean, if we go higher, maybe to the 4-hour chart, yeah, you can see that this, I mean, the highs of that 8-week range is extremely heavy. But I'm still looking for buys. This market, I see absolutely no reason to look for sales. More so because if we look at the higher time frames, we are still in a very, very bullish structure, printing higher highs and higher lows all the way since May 2021, and if we go lower, even since January 2021. So I'm going to see how the market opens, and these are the zones that I'm looking for possible buys on the US dollar. Have a great trading week and trade safe.
Cheers, Trader O, and thank you everybody who's joined us for today's session. We started off with Julian on macro market overview following his earlier session with a bit more detail in there, followed by Chloe on trend trading, Link on trend trading, linking the daily charts to the 4-hourly chart, and Orlando coming in again, going between the time frames and looking at the US dollar index. Next week, same time, we'll be back. We will have Ash talking the FTSE. All of you who follow Ash on Trading Buddies will know that he is a FTSE guru. We'll have Geoff coming in doing technical analysis. You guys again will know that. All they've just finished a slingshot program will know that his market analysis technically is sublime. And on top of that, we'll have George coming in from South Africa and joining us. George being an expert in price action and money management. They will be in next Sunday at the same time to have a look at this market. Geoff will host that show, I would expect, and I'll be back the week after. Hope you're enjoying the new format. Great to see so many in. It's nice to have so many in. Fantastic to see you guys. And particularly, thank you very much to the team for coming in. Thanks again to Julian, Chloe, Linka, and Orlando. And thank you very much, Anita, for covering today while Maya's away. We'll see you guys in the future. Thanks for joining us. See you all. Take care. See you. Thanks, mate. See you soon.